Welcome to practice. Let's find a comfortable seat on the top of your mat. Sitting up onto a block or a pillow, raising your hips a little bit higher so that your hips are relaxed. Hands can gently relax onto your knees and just take a nice tall spine, softening your shoulders down your back. This next sequence is a short but powerful morning routine that is a perfect way to move into the new year, setting new intentions and grounding strongly into them by setting new routines and new practices into your morning. Start to deepen your breath in and out through your nose, feeling your sit bones grounding down into the mat, feeling supported here. And then with your next breath, let's gently bring our hands in front of heart center. Set an intention for your practice. Maybe it's a brand new intention that you're working with, or maybe you're carrying forward something that you need to keep grounding into a little bit stronger. Good, and then let's release our hands down onto our knees. Start to deepen your breath, and we're going to start to move into a variation of cat-cow. So on your inhale, arching your spine, bringing your gaze up towards the ceiling, and as you exhale, curl through the spine, and keep moving with your breath. Inhaling and exhaling, arching and curving through the spine. So we're just starting to wake the body up, start to bring some fresh oxygen and blood into the areas of the body. And as you warm up, you can start to speed up the posture. So as you can see here, going as quickly as you want, which will just start to intensify the energy in the body. Good. Let's come back to a neutral spine, taking a full inhale here. And a full exhale out. Let's interlace our hands, bring them above head, palms facing towards the crown of the head. And we're going to start to move with a strong breath in and out through the nose. So it's nice and forceful. And if you want to add on your exhales, you're snapping your belly back towards your spine. So you can see here, it's a pumping action of the belly. Again, moving with that strong, balanced inhale and exhale, forcing the breath in and out of the body. So this is called breath of glow, and we're working to increase the energetic field around the body here. So seeing light all around yourself as you're doing this breath, and just continue to move at a pace that you can sustain for a couple more breaths. Take a big inhale, straighten your arms, hold the breath at the peak of your inhale. Then exhale, release. Hands come onto your knees, soften through the breath. And then let's come forward into a standing forward fold. So feet are hip width distance apart, hanging forward here over our legs. Knees can be slightly bent as you just start to warm up the body. You can grab onto opposite elbow, moving from side to side, or grabbing onto your toes, back of your legs, whatever feels good here. Essentially, we're just starting to wake the body up through a rhythmic and dedicated breath. Good. Inhale, let's bring our gaze forward. And exhale, fold. Inhale, let's rise all the way up. Arms come above head. And then arms by your side into Samasthiti. Good. Let's bend the knees nice and deep, sitting back into chair pose. Inhale, arms come up. And exhale, fold forward into Uttanasana, straightening through the legs. Inhale, look up with a flat spine. And exhale, jump or step back into high plank. Lower Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Grounding through the left foot. Inhale, let's raise our right leg up towards the ceiling, reaching, grounding strongly through both hands. And then inhale, switch sides. Exhale your feet back down to the mat, downward facing dog. Bring your gaze forward, jump or step to the top of your mat. Inhale, lengthen through the spine, and exhale, fold forward. Bending your knees. Inhale, let's come up with the arms, Utkatasana. Then straightening your legs, arms by your side into Samasthiti. Good, let's do another one. Bending your knees, let's fold forward. Inhale, come up with a flat spine. Exhale, jump or step back into high plank. Lower Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Same action here. Ground down strongly with your feet. Inhale your left leg up towards the ceiling. Lower it back down to the mat. Inhale your right leg up. Lower it back down. Right away, bring your gaze forward, jumper step to the top of your mat. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, sit back into chair posture. Inhale your arms up, then straightening your legs, arms by your side. And again, bending your knees, sit back into chair posture. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look up with a flat spine. Exhale, jumper step back into high plank. Let's lower Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good, ground strongly. Inhale, let's bring our left leg up towards the ceiling. Now bending your knee, sending your heel towards your bum. Opening through that side body, but keep grounding through the left hand. Good, and then straightening that leg. Let's switch sides. Inhale your right leg up. Bending your knee, opening up through the side of the body. Feel the stretch. And then straightening that leg, coming back into downward facing dog. Let's bring our gaze forward. Jumper step to the top of your mat. Inhale, lengthen through the spine, reach the crown of the head forward, and exhale, release. Bending your knees, sit back into chair posture. Inhale, your arms come up. Straighten your legs, arms by your side, Samastitihi. Good, again, bending your knees, inhale your arms up. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look up with a flat spine. Planting your hands, exhale, jump step, back into high plank, lower Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good, let's step our right foot in between our hands, coming into a low lunge, Anjaneyasana, arms come up. Keep lifting through the pelvis and squaring through the hips as you draw your belly button towards your spine. Let's lower our hands down to the mat. Step back into high plank, lower Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And switching sides, send your left foot forward, right knee drops down to the mat, and then come on up with the arms. You can always feel like you're lifting up and out of the pelvis and strengthening through the core. Let's lower our hands back down onto the mat. Taking a breath here, and then step back into high plank. Lower Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And then let's drop down onto our hands and knees. Placing your hands directly underneath your shoulders and your hips under your knees. And we're going to move into our regular cat-cow here. So on your inhale, you're arching through the spine, bringing your gaze up towards the ceiling. And exhale, you're curling through the spine. And again, just move with your breath, maybe a little bit faster than what we started our practice with. Good, so the strength comes through the core and through your hands pressing down strongly into the mat. And then we're just looking to create that flexion through the spine, getting movement in areas that maybe are still stiff from our sleep last night. Beautiful. Watch the breath moving through the body. Maybe a little more intensity here. Finding a pace you can sustain and maintain. And a few more. Good, and then let's curl into the spine, holding the breath here. Return back to a neutral spine, and let's take a child's posture. So arms can be straight out in front of you, forehead onto the mat. Or if you want a bit of a side stretch, let's walk our hands off to the right side of the mat, as you see here in the video. Slowing down the breath and slowing down the pace and rhythm in the body. So how quickly can you drop back into this neutral space? Let's walk our hands off to the left side of the mat now. Breathing into the right side of the body. Just feeling the support of the mat, and continue to sink deeper and deeper. Let's walk our hands back through center. And then we're going to set up for a headstand or a headstand prep. So let's come down onto our forearms onto the mat. You're going to grab onto opposite elbow. So this is how close your elbows need to stay. Release, start to interlace your fingers. keeping your hands open, and then place the crown of the head onto the mat, supporting the back of the head with your hands. Let's tuck your toes like downward facing dog and walk your feet up as high as you can so that your hips are over your shoulders. And then you can play here just by lifting one leg and then lifting the other leg, maybe not even coming up off the mat. The right support and strength needs to be there in the body so that you actually feel really light as your toes eventually lift up. If you're coming into your full headstand, you can move there now and just keep the rhythm of breath going throughout the body. And if you are in your headstand prep, that's perfect. Just keep playing with lifting one leg and lifting the next, getting really comfortable being upside down and getting all the same benefits here as you would in your full headstand. So no matter what position you are in your practice, can you maintain the stability through the breath? If you're in your full headstand, you can slowly release, coming down into child's posture. If you're in your prep posture, come down into child's posture as well. And just soften. So feel your forehead rooting down into the mat, palms facing down. And then let's start to curl up through the spine, sending your feet out in front of you for a forward seated fold. So engaging strongly through the legs here, curling your tailbone back behind you, and then find the length through the spine. Working your belly button towards your legs. And again, just retraining the spine here. Creating those healing patterns and letting go of old things that aren't serving the body anymore. So we are constantly unwinding and releasing if you will allow yourself to do so. Good inhale, let's look up, bring your gaze up and release. Coming to lay flat onto our back. Coming into Halasana, so bringing your feet up and over. Toes are reaching for the mat behind you, hands onto your lower back for support. If your feet don't meet the mat, keep your hands on your lower back and you can even bend your knees and bring them towards your forehead. If your feet do meet the mat, you can release your hands from your back and ground them strongly down onto the mat. Remember, if you're practicing this in the morning, then this posture might be kind of tricky and really sticky through the spine. So move slow and be gentle with the body. Our practice requires a lot of patience. And through this patience, we start to create resilience. Resilience in the body, in the breath, and then in the mind. And let's slowly and gently roll down through the spine, supporting yourself if you need to, and bring your knees in towards your chest. Maybe rolling around on the spine a little bit, massaging here. And then let's come into a gentle twist, so arms come out wide. Let's drop our knees over to the left and bring your gaze over your right fingertips. And at this point in the practice, you can start to soften the breath. Just simply take a scan of the body, notice what you notice, take a scan of the mind. You can switch sides. This is the perfect time to kind of tune into the patterns that have control over your life at this time. Some of those patterns are going to be good and helpful and useful in your life, and some of them you know that you're ready to release them. So just this simple awareness will help you to start to unwind and move through them. Let's inhale back up through center. And then when you're ready, let's make yourself as comfortable as possible here. Moving into Shavasana, so your final resting posture. This is the perfect time to soften the breath. With that soft breath, we can really start to sink into the body. Feeling heavy, feeling supported, and knowing that the work that you showed up to do on your mat has been done. So now we just let it settle into the body. Like sand settling down into the ocean after it's been up through a wave. Just feel these new patterns settling down into the body, taking their place and hold so that you can start to live a more authentic life. We can start to bring full deep breaths back into the body, noticing the state you got to in this form of relaxation. Bringing some movement into your fingers and toes, eventually bringing your knees into your chest, rolling onto the right side of the body, before making your way up to a comfortable seated position at the top of your mat. And once you've found your seat onto a blanket or a block, make yourself as comfortable as possible here and ensure that your spine is nice and straight. Your hands can rest onto your knees, starting the same way with the tall spine and dropping your shoulders down your back. We'll move into our pranayama, or our breathing exercise. And today we're going to move into samavriti, so equal balanced breath. You want your inhales to be the same length, pressure, and integrity as your exhales. So if you need to, you can count the length of your inhales and then match your exhales to that same length for a count of 4 or 5 or 6. Whatever feels natural into the body, and you're attempting to make the breath as smooth as possible by dedicating full awareness here into the breath. Moving the breath in and out through the nose and just watching how it flows through the body. The breath becomes the perfect breeding ground to drop the mind into the body. And soften the breath, moving back into your natural inhales and exhales. And gently start to take deep breaths. And just recognizing where you got to in your practice. You can end here, or you can move into your meditation, moving into one of my guided meditations or to your own. Thank you very much, everyone. Namaste.